Rise and shine, it's time for D. It's for drama. Today, I am joined by two best friends turned roommates, development executive Anamarie Johnson and programming manager for digital media, Keani White. Please welcome them.
Do you have a laugh track, like a clapping track? Yeah. Like a soundboard.
For now.
That's what we need. Yeah, perfect.
Pick this up.
Welcome.
Thank
you guys
you.
for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. Well, as basically all of my guests are my friends from college, literally every single one. I guess out in LA, I just haven't made any other friends. But technically, we didn't really know each other in college, did we? Or were we in classes together?
No, I remember meeting you on, I forget whose film set it was, but you were like a ghost following everyone around.
I was in an extra where you were the star of a short film.
Yeah, we were extras partying while you were a ghost following everyone.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Well, so that...
Yes, because for the longest time before we met you and we would like see you at like mutual gatherings, we would always be like, oh, that was the girl that was like wet. Like she was like soaking wet.
Were you like drowned or something?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean from the
ghost.
short? I was
Yeah.
like, am I just sweating at every party?
No.
No, because it was like a party scene and then you had drowned and then you're like wandering through the party and then you and I were like
Yes.
partying in the background.
Yeah.
I kid you not that when I went home the next day, I was like hungover. I was like so tired and all we did was
Right.
like do water shots in the background.
Yeah. No,
So
it's
funny.
exhausting.
It was exhausting.
Well, I had the craziest experience on that set. So I think the year prior, the director of that movie, I like had a little bit of a crush on him. So I was like kind of nervous around him. And then the guy who was the lead of it,
Yeah. Oh.
I had hooked up with him like the first night back of senior year.
Mm-hmm.
I had left my number. I thought I was being really cute. He had to go somewhere early, like the next morning. It was like, I thought it was like a little movie moment. And I got out his planner, was sitting
Yeah.
on his bed, and I opened it up to the calendar. And the day that it was, I like wrote my name and my number, like, do you know,
Oh,
to remember
cute.
who was
Yeah.
the gal he hooked up with that night. But then he never hit me up. And then, like, the next weekend, my friends and I were all going out. This was at The View. This was one of the big apartment buildings.
Oh my God.
And
I forgot about the view.
I know. Well, because you were probably always blacked out whenever you were there.
No, but I fully remember being like, I would go to the Taco Bell next to it and get that
Yes.
giant thing of like 12 tacos. And then the guy that like worked the door at the apartment, I'd be like, please let me in. And because I didn't
I've
want to
got
wait. Because I didn't want to wait in the line to like, because you waited in line and then you went inside and said who you were there to see.
Yeah.
And I would never want to
Oh.
wait. So then I would like do that. And then they would like fast track me to like the front desk to be like, I'm going to apartment like 400.
Because you had tacos?
Yeah.
Oh, because you would give them tacos?
Yeah.
Oh my God, smart.
Yeah, it's really genius.
Because I was like, it's cheaper than being like $20 under my ID. Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
here's some like
Wow,
beef
iconic
taco.
move.
I know.
Yeah, because there's always a really long line.
Always.
yeah, for an apartment
Always.
building.
Yeah. It was like a club.
It was.
It was.
Crazy.
So our friends lived like a couple floors below us, and we get off the elevator. We just barge into their apartment that we think, and we're like, Tony, like, where's Tony? Where's Tony? There's a bunch of random guys in the living room, and so we like go back to Tony's room, and then we realize like. And all of a sudden we're like, oh wait, we're in the wrong apartment. We're not in Tony's apartment. And then we go back out into the living room and I'm like, wow, I don't really recognize any of you guys. And then I turn and I look and it's Derek sitting right there. And I had just hooked up with him the weekend before and he didn't hit me up. And I was like, oh.
Hey.
And then my friends come out and they're like, yeah, we're in the wrong apartment. It's one floor
Oh
below.
my God. So then did he hit you up after?
No, he never did.
I kind of love how main
Okay.
character that is, though.
Yeah.
Of him?
Of you.
Of me? I just barged into the guy that I drunkenly made out with.
Unplanned.
Yeah. Truly though. And then like when I like became friends with him a little bit later, I was like, well, he was like, well, we just thought you were there for Tony because one of their roommates' name was Tony. So it looked like we just
Really?
came in
Oh
like
my
looking for
God.
Tony.
I kind of wish he still wouldn't have like remembered you. I think it would have still been funny.
If he didn't remember
If he
me?
was just still like that at that moment reintroduced himself, I
Oh,
think it would have been funny.
Hey, I'm Derek. You've been like, bitch.
really humbled me even more. But then when we like really became friends, like after college
Yeah,
out here, then I finally like confessed and I was like, I like left my number there. And he was like, I literally never saw it.
He's never opened
And
his
he-
planner.
he's never,
can't
never
read.
once. Not once. And he was like, I definitely would have. I was like, oh,
Oh my God, he probably thought that you like weren't interested. Like you just like
yeah, maybe the
left.
whole time his narrative was like, this girl hates me.
yes. And then she barged into my apartment. But then he was the lead.
Oh
of
yeah,
this.
yeah.
And so my perspective is he never hit me up. And then his perspective is probably that girl never like talked to me again.
Yeah, like she couldn't wait to leave.
Yeah, exactly. And so then I was really nervous because like I kind of had a crush on
Yeah.
him. And so I'm like this ugly ghost walking around soaking wet. And I was so nervous I would go to my car and just rip chugs of vodka. And then I was
So
just
you got
trashed on set.
actual vodka, and we were stuck doing water shots and felt hungover the next day.
I was hating my life though, but what's sad is like there was also no music playing.
No, there was
So
no
even
music.
more
We were just like
embarrassing.
dancing in the
Just, like,
back with
And
water.
I was like the Ring character with the black hair over my face. It was
So
like a wig
good.
or something.
So funny.
I did
remember
not
it
know that
vividly.
was your first impression of me. Okay, but you guys
Yeah.
also met in college
Yes. Mhm.
and became fast friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were roommates.
Yeah, we were roommates senior year. I had been living with two girls from study abroad junior year, and then they moved out because they were older, so they graduated, and then Keani and then our other friend moved in. So we did senior year.
To a townhouse.
To a townhouse.
Yes, we were off campus.
It was a vibe.
Yeah,
So how was the transition from friends to roommates?
I feel like for for
Like, how do you
us,
feel about it?
well, for us, it was pretty. We were in the same student orgs and the same major, and we had like all the same class. We were just together 24/7. So like it actually was fine. I mean, I feel like we just like naturally transitioned into that. Our other roommate though, I think she wasn't in our major. She wasn't in that. We were friends with her from before, but I think that created some, because we were always together and always doing everything. And I
So
think
she was
she
kind of the
kind of
third
like, so it was like
wheel.
threes. Yeah.
Three's a crowd.
Three is a crowd. And then,
I always describe it, this is so lame, but like if we were on the hills, it was very like Lauren Lowe, and then she was Audrina living in like the back house.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because she like her
yes.
even in the house, like her room was like
Yeah.
not by like it was just kind of like always away.
yeah.
Mhm.
And then it was like I feel like when we would go to work, she would be at home, and then like vice versa. Like we were never there at the same time.
Mhm.
So then like when we were there, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Because she was kind of jealous.
I think so. I mean, we definitely had like, I wouldn't say they were fights, but definitely she like brought up that she felt like we excluded her.
She loved
And,
to leave
like,
a note.
Yeah, she did love to leave a note.
Yeah.
And I do not do
Oh, passive
notes.
aggressive.
Like on the
Yeah.
fridge. And I'm like, girl,
She also is just sort of a free spirit. And
Yeah.
and I feel like I wasn't there yet with my life. Like I feel like looking
Yeah.
back, I was definitely the problem. But I feel like like she was just like, to describe what she was, it was like she was like majoring in bio, but then like kind of majoring in film, and then she worked at the Whole Foods like cheese counter, but then also was like a model. So it was like for me, it was like I always was just sort of like I never fully understood like who she was because I always thought
too
it was
much
like kind of
going on.
different,
Yeah.
like a mystery and
Pick a
like
lane.
breadcrumbs of
Yeah.
like facts. So then when she would like, so I always was under the impression that like, oh, like you're go with the flow, but then she'd leave really passive aggressive notes, and then I always was like, I can't get like
Oh.
a read on what you're actually like.
Right.
right.
You guys had a little story.
Well, we have two like that stick out the most. Our roommate had two rabbits that she brought into our lives.
Oh.
And we were so excited when she said that we were going to have rabbits. We were like, oh, so fun. We're going to have pets
Mhm.
in the house or whatever. But they were old, like geriatric
Mm.
rabbits that had been, I don't know. I think the home they came from, they were maybe abused or whatever. They
yeah,
were
she like
not,
rescued them.
they were not excited about being cuddled, held, whatever.
Oh yeah, they bit you, and then you were done.
Done. Chewed through
Yeah.
my lamp cord. It was over.
Wait, so these bunnies were just roaming around? They
So
weren't in
no, they had like
cages?
they had a pen
A
like
pen,
in the
yeah.
living room.
Like what you would do with like I guess like a puppy or whatever, but it wasn't like a full, like if they bounced against the side, it would like move. It wasn't like stable.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like
in the middle of the living room.
We wanted them to be able to like hang out with us. But then after those 2 incidences, we were like, no more.
Yeah, we're
We're
done.
done. We stopped paying attention to the rabbits at all. The night of the incident was that we were.
This also, I think, illustrates that, like, with the notes and sort of our relationship with her at this point, like, there wasn't a lot of communication, like, around, like, any of the shared spaces, let alone, like, taking care of the rabbits.
Oh, so you guys weren't even speaking at this point?
Well, no, we were speaking, but we just, like, she didn't, like, communicate to us, like, anything that was going on with the rabbit.
But
like,
speaking
whatever.
was, like,
about the
hey, girl.
rabbit.
Like,
yeah, like, hey, girl.
But, like, not, like, how's life? But, you know? So, like, talking,
just
but, like.
pleasantries.
Yeah.
She was working, like, multiple jobs in Scottsdale. She was in different classes. Again, like, we were not in any of the same things. So, like, we just didn't see her that much. Anyway, we came home. We made a whole dinner. We were, like, in the, like, I can't express how long we were in the kitchen that is connected to the living room where the rabbits were, not paying attention
We
to
watched,
the
like, 3 episodes of Modern Family.
Yeah, we were, like fully, we were, like, fully in there. And then we were in my room, which was, like, I guess the furthest away from the living room.
Yeah.
And we're just sitting in there, like, watching TV. All of a sudden we hear a scream in the living room and we were like, oh my God, what happened? So we like rush out there. We like thought, you know, and one of the rabbits had died. And so we were like, oh my God, like, what can we do? Whatever. We were like, oh, we can bury it in the yard. But then she didn't want to bury it in the yard because there had been a cockroach sighting, which was
that was crazy.
That was crazy.
What does that mean?
I don't know. That she just
but
didn't
she wouldn't. But like we had a nice backyard, but she didn't want to bury it there. So then we were like, oh, like, well, what if we go to like a park?
A park.
Oh, I also feel like we need to preface it was like probably like a Tuesday night at like 10:45.
Oh, and we
PM.
fully had a test the next day.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, we'll go with you. And then we're driving to what seemingly was like 45 minutes away for some reason. And she's like holding this rabbit on her lap. I was in the backseat studying for the test, and Keani was just like,
oh my God.
Miley Cyrus, We Can't Stop was playing like quietly on the radio. That I remember because it just came out. And I remember feeling so conflicted because I was like, I felt bad, but I also was like, it's Bob.
Yeah, so we like drive out to essentially what we have deemed a gun range. I don't know that it was.
No, I think it was because we saw a sign.
A gun range?
Because we saw a sign, because I remember whispering that to you when we got out.
Did we have a shovel? Like, how did she dig?
No, no, because I had to hold it. I held it in the pillowcase, and then she dug a hole by a tree.
At the gun range.
At the gun
Yes.
range.
Why?
I don't know why.
There's so much space in Arizona. You could have gone anywhere.
I will say wherever it was pretty, like nature-wise was pretty. But
it was
she
a
was
nice
trying to,
final
like,
resting place.
aesthetic.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then we buried the rabbit, and I personally questioned at the time. I understand now. Again, we were the asshole. I was like, why would you waste a pillowcase? Like,
wait, that was the conversation, and the only reason why we brought it up was because she had a specialty bed, and she had to like buy. And I remember she could only buy the sheets somewhere, and like it was expensive.
Yeah,
and it was like a
even
silk,
by like
nice
adult
pillowcase
standards.
that she which like of course it was your pet. Like I guess we
Did
didn't
you
have pets.
say that to her?
No, we said it to each other.
We said it to each other.
This is why we
so
probably
chaotic.
had problems.
Well, is the pillowcase even like biodegradable? Like,
I'm sure not.
Well,
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know anything about pillowcases.
Because I feel like the reason why, like back in the day, especially before like coffins became a thing, I feel like they used to bury people because it's like you go back into the earth.
Yeah.
You
like
break down.
Go back, into nature.
I feel like a cotton one breaks down more than a silk one, but I don't know anything about. I don't know anything about pillowcase science.
Silk is good for your skin.
I know. That's why I'm like, why did you get rid of the pillowcase?
Was she like crying this whole time, and you guys are just like nose in your book trying to study for tomorrow and listening to Miley Cyrus?
Yes.
Yeah. Which is why, in hindsight, we're aware that we are the problem. And I feel like we redeemed ourselves at graduation because I feel like we had a nice moment where everyone acknowledged like
we did. We fully like
sucked.
talked about this and like all those
But
things.
how
like,
much
it's fine.
later was graduation?
Well,
from that, I actually feel like not that much longer.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
I don't
that's
think
good.
so. But then the other incident that
Well, wait, hold on. I have some
sorry.
questions.
Oh, so sorry. I was like skipping.
How did it die?
Okay,
Or he died?
I think I
my
remember
God.
its intestine. Like apparently this happens in rabbits.
You didn't even say that it had rigor mortis, which means that it
Oh,
was
yeah.
dead while we were eating the whole time. Like we wouldn't like because we
Oh,
didn't even bother to be
no.
like, oh, I wonder how they're doing. We just like came
No, it
home.
Oh,
was
because
bad.
you never checked
Well, because we
on
weren't
them in
interested in them because they
general.
weren't interested in us.
Yeah, I get that.
And
Well, now I'm like, am I the problem? Because you guys were close, and then I moved in, and then this
No.
happened.
You were
Yeah.
cursed.
yeah,
Yeah,
you actually
oh.
broke us up.
Well, wait, did you
That
have
tracks.
issues with the rabbit?
No, not really.
So I'm
I'm
the
just
problem.
I'm just an accessory to the crime.
Okay, neither of us killed the
You know
rabbit.
what it really is?
Yeah.
What it really is that I think it's like you had like the primary bedroom, so you had your own bathroom, and then she and
Yeah.
I shared a bathroom.
Yeah.
And I feel like this sounds so lame. I was like pissed because she would leave her extensions like on the sink,
Mm.
and that equated me to having no sensitivity for the animal, which is sad.
Oh my God.
No, the animals were like collateral damage.
No,
in
they
this
really
whole
were.
thing.
No, yeah,
They were both guys.
I think so.
Guys. Because we keep calling them it, and I apologies to the animal
I
lovers.
personally
Them.
don't know.
Them.
Yeah.
Let's not
they're them.
assume.
Yeah.
So was she mad at you guys though?
I think what was hard with our living situations, like we would never know if she was. Like it was
Yeah.
like because she would like
Mm.
leave notes. She was never like I don't know if she like could deal with conflict directly.
Mhm.
Yeah, she was like passive
And
aggressive.
I love you, but like same. And I feel
Yeah.
like I was the person that was like, I'll talk about it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I was
okay,
not
okay.
interested in dealing with conflict
Yeah.
directly either.
Yeah.
Now I don't care, but
Now you're more open to it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's easier when you're
But
older.
like when you're in your 20s or whatever.
Yeah.
oh
that's
my
true.
god,
It's
no,
hard.
it's so hard.
You're just like, I don't want anyone to hate
Oh, I would do
me.
anything but have like
Yeah.
a serious conversation.
Yeah.
All right, now the couch one or something.
Yeah. The couch one is crazy.
This will illustrate why it's not just us.
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, as I mentioned, we had a very curated space. And then one day,
We still sound bad.
yeah,
What?
I was like,
we're
we still
still going to
we still
sound
sound
terrible
bad.
because we were probably. But anyway, one day she just brought a couch in from like the curb. And then we were like, we don't need another couch.
Yeah.
But she really wanted it for some reason. And so she put it in like the back corner of the apartment.
Yeah.
It didn't like, no one sat on it. We were like, it probably has fleas. Like it's from the street.
Like, if you were sitting like on
Yeah.
already like seating and you would like look at the TV, she put it like where the TV would have been.
Oh.
So it was already just odd.
Did you have a TV?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she put it.
But it was, like, next
under
to
the-
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
next to it.
It was crazy.
So you couldn't use it to
No.
watch the TV.
No.
No. So it was just like in this like back corner or whatever. So there was one night we used to host the pre-games all the time because we also curated a very cute backyard with like the lights and we painted these chairs all cute. We had a fire pit. Like we would always have people over and we had a beer pong table. So we moved the couch outside so people could like where it belonged to because it came from outside. It belonged.
Revisiting it now, the
came
fact that
from
we thought our
outside.
compromise was to put it outside is so rude.
So, but this is not an outside couch, right? Like it
No,
wasn't.
No, it was like
made-
it was like
made for the inside.
It was like a
yeah.
leather love seat.
Okay.
that we had like this like sheet over.
Yeah.
And then
you-
we put it outside so that
Okay.
people could sit there while like people are playing beer pong or whatever,
Yeah.
hanging out.
Wait, you put a sheet over it because it was outside?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a sheet,
It was
cover.
the sheet was on inside too. I was like,
Oh, because
we're
of
in
the
its
fleas?
yeah.
no, like basically.
I wonder why she wanted this thing so bad.
I don't know.
I feel like she's probably asserting like I also live here energy, which I
Yeah.
do respect. Like looking back, I kind of am like that's fair if like the common space is just like
your stuff.
Yeah.
So then one night we came back from good old Mill Avenue.
Iconic.
Let me set the stage.
Okay. Said it.
So the way the back of our house was, there was like a tiny yard, and then the way my bedroom had like a sliding glass door. I don't know if we had like locked ourselves out from the front or like whatever, but I was like, or maybe the sliding glass door was unlocked. So we went back there. It wasn't. So then we're like, let's just order a pizza and like kill time. And then like eventually she'll come home. She wasn't at the pre, so she had no idea that we had moved the couch outside. So we didn't like think anything of it. So then we had texted her to be like, oh, well, can you like let us in like when you come back? So then she like does. She like, I don't think she noticed the couch at first. Like when she like let us into the sliding glass door.
Wait, because you forgot your keys? Wait, why did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were just like sitting in our backyard, like waiting for her to come back. Like we
She came
jumped
back.
over the fence. She still hadn't registered that we had like taken the couch in the back because she came through my bedroom to the sliding glass door. She didn't go through like the main part of the house. So we're just like inside like doing whatever. And then once again, yes, we deserve to be yelled at. I mean,
I'm now in my room.
yeah.
Okay.
Anna chose to leave the situation versus dealing with it directly, whereas like I was like trying to explain like why it was better that we put it outside.
Well, wait, what happened? She
But
like
she
was,
noticed
She was
that it was outside.
pissed. And it wasn't just like she was pissed. It was like when I came out of my room to see what was going on, she was like backlit, dragging the couch inside by herself in like a tiny club dress, heels still on, yelling at me to help her.
God.
And I was just like, but it's like so gross though. And we like never sit on it. It was like me trying to rationalize with her like why we should at least deal with it in the morning.
Yes. Yeah. Why did it need to be dealt with now? It wasn't raining, was it?
No,
No.
it was like perfectly ordinary. So then we just drag it and leave it in the middle of the living room.
Yeah.
And are just like, whatever, we'll deal with it tomorrow. We'll all have a conversation about it tomorrow. And I'm pretty sure she just got rid of it and then we never spoke about it again.
You never spoke about it
Yeah,
again.
it was just
No.
over.
You never even asked her where did it go?
Well, she for sure didn't. I've at least tried to ask how she felt about it, but it was sort of, I think, not the beginning of the end. Because I feel like after that, we definitely like, we weren't not friends. We never really like hung out, I feel like, outside of being at home together. after
Yeah.
that. Like before that, we would like hang out every once in a while.
Yeah. But I feel like by the end of the year, we did like all reconcile and it was fine and we were all friends and we like still talk to her and
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
so anyway, those are
Okay,
our story
so,
roommate drama.
I'm trying to think whose side I'm on.
I
Well, with the rabbit one, that wasn't your fault.
no.
But I suppose you could have been more sensitive to the matter.
Yeah.
Why we could have been more sensitive. I mean, we did drive with her to the gun range in our
Yeah.
defense.
And how far was that?
Like literally 45 minutes in the
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
We went to
asking a
freaking
lot.
Prescott.
That's asking a lot.
I know. On a school night.
Yeah, because I feel like you could have put it in the freezer.
I know.
For the
Or
night.
just
Yeah.
buried it in the
Or just-
grass we
yeah.
had next to us in our yard.
It could have gone down differently, for sure.
Yeah.
And then for the second one, I mean, I kind of understand that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want, I mean, listen, and I actually was going to do a situation that was about like trash picking and bringing that stuff into the apartment because I am a big advocate of that.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say now it's like, now I actually feel like really rude because I'll like drive through LA and be like, wait, that's cute, and like pull over.
Yeah. So
I
now
think it's
you're
different
doing
Yeah.
because we already had a full living room set.
Yeah, you already had it.
Like we had it all in it just like and it didn't fit in
It wasn't
any
your
sort of
aesthetic.
it wasn't no.
Yeah. And it was
And it
kind of
wasn't
dirty.
hers. Like it wasn't any
Yeah,
of
yeah,
our
yeah,
room.
yeah.
It didn't match anything and it just felt like
And
oh
you
I
put a
found
sheet over it
this.
anyway. So it
Yeah.
wasn't like it was a aesthetically pleasing couch.
No.
It wasn't like a win. It wasn't like, oh, someone just was like, didn't care and wanted to get rid of it. It was like, I think someone like put it outside because they were like, it's bad.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is with the trash picking is you just have to really inspect the stuff.
Right.
And sometimes it's not going to be good. And I do think a lot of times couches are
Mm-hmm.
not the best.
I
Yes.
don't know who laid on it in between it going out on the street and into our
Yeah.
apartment.
No, that's such a good point.
It's
Like-
also Arizona. It's like dust and like
Yeah.
wind.
hmm
Like, a javelina could have went on that couch.
Yeah, you have
You
no
know?
idea.
We
A
have no.
what?
Those like pig
Those
things.
pigs.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like a haboob.
What's
A haboob
that?
could have
Like dust wall
rolled
thing?
through, you know,
Oh, yeah.
the dust bowl. thing.
Dust bowl, yeah. That could have too.
You know, it could
I've
have been.
never heard of that.
I would
though.
say if I was a unbiased third party deciding whose side I was
Hers.
on.
Yes, tell me who's tell me what I should think.
Well, I think that I stand by our decisions,
to put it outside.
but especially that one. But I just think in both scenarios we could have reacted better or been more communicative.
Yes.
And that is what, especially when you're rooming with friends, you need to be
Mhm.
very communicative.
yeah,
I
that's very true.
know, because that's the delicate dance.
Mhm.
When you're just roommates and you're going into the situation like you're roommates, I think that I mean, you always have to have respect,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
boundaries, and respect each other's space and all of that. It's almost like when you're friends with your coworkers, like
Right.
there is a little bit of a awkwardness that is potentially going to happen because you have to
Right.
deal with each other in different capacities. than
Yeah, it's
just
like layered.
friends.
Yeah, totally.
Mhm.
Because I think when we lived with her, that's sort of how I felt, especially like looking back now, is like we probably did approach it as like you're this our random roommate versus
Mm.
and that we like don't know that well versus someone that we had like an established friendship with.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
think it was like weirdly jumping between like well, she probably like won't care, or just like fully being like, well, if we had to vote, it's like 2 against her. So
Yeah.
we're like, whatever, it's the
Mm.
majority versus actually thinking about like, we're kind of ganging up on her versus like
Yeah.
truly like
Yeah.
talking about it and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
being like, how do
yeah.
we feel?
Yeah. Because you weren't as good of friends with her?
No,
Or where
I
did she
was.
come
I known
from?
her since freshman year.
Oh, okay.
So.
So it was kind of more awkward for you.
Yeah, because you guys weren't like you weren't super.
No, I
together.
actually like as much as it sounds like we like weren't friends, I do actually
No,
feel
yeah.
like we grew to really like
No,
each other
I
living
know.
together.
I feel
Yeah.
like these incidences kind of both happened around the same time, and then we had like a month or so of like weird vibes, and
Yeah.
then we finally like chatted it out, and then
Just
we were
in time
fine.
for graduation. Just in time for the year to be over.
Exactly.
Well, I did do a poll on my Instagram about
Yeah.
would you room with your best friend? 50% said yes, 35% said no, and then 15% said depends. And I said, DM me. And one of the listeners said, literally only if we'd been roommates before. For example, one of my current besties I met as a random roommate and we were amazing together. I wouldn't risk a pre-existing friendship being roommates because there's such a high chance your lifestyles are not compatible, which is true.
Yeah.
Which leads me right into our listener write-in.
Yay.
Okay.
I, 19F, have been best friends with Carly, 19F, since we were in kindergarten. We have done everything together since then, gone to the same schools, played the same sports, had the same friends, and even had the same summer job. We have always been super compatible. Last year, when it was time to look for colleges, we, of course, wanted to go to the same one. We both got into our top pick and were beyond excited to go together. We decided to dorm together too. Well, that was a huge mistake. It's true that you never really know someone until you've lived together. I am an early riser, love to get a workout in and go to bed relatively early on the nights that we don't go out. She, on the other hand, sleeps in late and stays up late. She complains when I make any noise in the morning and I make serious efforts to be quiet. When she stays up late, she will watch videos with headphones in, put the brightness and the volume all the way up, and she'll laugh out loud at the videos. I've gotten eye masks and earplugs, but it bothers me using them. She also hangs out with friends some nights and comes home late and stumbles loudly around the room running into shit. I've tried talking to her about it, and she's always like, well, I have to hear you in the morning, so we both have to deal with stuff we don't like. But I truly try to make a big effort to be as quiet as possible. I lay my workout clothes out and put my bathroom caddy next to the door so I can take it to the bathroom and get ready in there. She'll attempt to change for like 2 nights and then she goes back to her usual ways. I also have just realized that she kind of annoys me in general being around her this much. We have never spent this much time together and it just becomes a lot for me. We just wrapped up our first year and I have another friend, Ava, who has more of a similar lifestyle to mine who's down to room together next year. Carly texted me about living together again and I texted her saying I might room with Ava next year and she's left me on red. What do I do?
Ooh. Well, first of all, I don't ever suggest like freshman year living with your best friend
Yes.
because
Yeah,
like
I
how
was
are you
gonna
going to
say the
meet
same
new
thing.
friends? You know, it's like you're
Exactly.
always together all the time.
Yep,
Anyway,
that happened to me.
Yeah.
I went to Montclair State in Jersey and one of my
Mhm.
best friends, Michelle, and I went together and we decided like to room separately.
Yeah.
And then we made a bunch of friends.
Yeah. And then you're with each other all the
Yeah.
time, but then you're not ever going to like worry about it.
Exactly.
Because I also think
ruining
too,
your
you're like
friendship.
growing and changing so much at that time that it's like not that it would like hold you back from like exploring that, but I do think that there's a comfort of like if you have like doubts about things or like want to pursue like new interests or like whatever, it's easy to ignore those
Yeah.
feelings because you're like so comfortable, even though you're in a new environment.
Yes.
That I feel like rooming separately, even if you're at the same school, it's like you then can like come to your best friend and be like, oh, this cool thing's going on, or just like stuff that maybe they wouldn't typically be interested in, or like vice
Mhm.
versa,
Yeah.
to like grow and change. Because I think I changed so much from like freshman year to
Oh,
like senior year of
totally.
college that I
Mhm.
can't imagine having roomed with like my best friend and then not been open to like the other experiences of like just like new stuff. So it's like I guess I don't think it's bad that
Absolutely.
she's like
No, I think it's good
I
that
want to
she
room with
wants.
someone else. It also sounds like she made a lot of compromises that like ultimately
Mhm.
didn't work out.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like that's why she's being a good friend is like it didn't work out and it's maybe it's better that they like don't live together. I do feel like
Yeah.
that sucks that being left on red.
Yeah.
My intrusive thoughts are just to like it, but like that's so
I know, just a thumbs up.
I know.
cool.
Yeah.
But no, that's bad advice.
So Carly hasn't replied
Yeah.
yet.
It seems like she's obviously like hurt about it
But,
because
like-
it kind of feels like Carly wasn't as upset about the
Yeah.
other stuff. Like it didn't
Yeah.
bother her as much. OP
Yeah.
was the one that was changing her
Right.
ways a lot.
Yeah, that's true. But then to like, I don't know. I don't love that. Like, well, I have to listen to you in the morning. And then so I get to do whatever
So I
I
get to do
want
whatever I
until
want.
whatever hour I
Yeah.
want. Like, that's
When
also
it's, like-
not okay.
Yeah, it's tit for tat.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of harder like to go to sleep than it
Yeah.
is like when you kind of get woken up in the
Right.
morning
Yeah,
to
that's
kind of
true.
like drift back
Totally.
off.
Mhm.
I don't know, like every night if I had to deal with like
Mm-hmm.
difficulty getting to sleep, I would be cranky all the time.
Yeah, no. And I mean, it's not like good. Like, she definitely needs to be in a different apartment with a different roommate. Like,
Mhm.
that's for sure. I feel like for her friendship with Carly, I mean, they're going to work it out or they're not, I guess. Like,
Yeah, because I think
just-
ultimately it's like it's something that shouldn't be so deep that they would shift their relationship. Because I think if anything, wouldn't you want to share like I love spending time with you? Like we obviously like have been friends for so long, but we like just aren't compatible as roommates. We
Yeah.
like want
Yeah.
different things. It's just hard because I feel like it sounds like Carly is hurt because she didn't text back. So I almost kind of feel
Mhm.
like I would just like follow up maybe and explain like it's not that like it was so terrible living with you. It's just ultimately like we have very different schedules.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
like are leading different lives when it like comes to like our independent lives, not our shared lives. So like
Mhm.
maybe it
Mhm.
makes sense to like live with people who have the same like living routine because it sounds like they have opposite schedules to begin with. If like she's up so early,
Right.
Yes.
Um,
Like she obviously takes like, well, she works out and then maybe she takes like earlier classes.
yeah.
mhm.
and unless because they're, I would assume in it, obviously they're in a shared room. So if they were in a like a suite where you have like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know,
Hours.
individual rooms, like that's obviously a
Well,
non-issue.
actually, sophomore year,
Yeah.
usually you are
Yeah.
in suites. I mean,
Yeah.
I was. I actually did have a roommate, and then I had 2 suite mates. But you definitely, it's more expensive to have your own room.
Yeah.
But if you can afford to have your own room, then maybe you guys can live together.
Exactly.
But you just
Yeah.
have your own rooms.
Yeah.
So I'm almost wondering, like, is that a possibility, dear listener?
Mhm.
Because then maybe all of you could live together, and that would be really fun. Or do you just like strictly want to
Just not have the
deal
same
with it
address,
at
I
all?
guess.
Because
Yeah.
you never know. Maybe she is like banging around in the kitchen
Totally.
and making mac and cheese
Yeah.
before she goes.
Because
to
everyone's loud and
sleep.
quiet is obviously like different.
Yes.
It's like,
Yeah.
but
But it does feel like, at least from that story, that
Carly, or
Carly
OP.
was not. Carly is the night owl.
Yes.
Okay, so she's not really making any compromises or changing her routine,
Mhm.
maybe for like one day, but she's not
Mhm.
actively trying. Where the other girl was actively trying the entire time. So I'm like, if
And
the other
that can
person,
grow a lot of resentment.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I'm like, well, I guess if Carly's not going to put in the effort,
Then yeah, I would.
Then
be,
I
like,
wouldn't
turned
live with
off.
her either.
And also, she did
Yeah.
make the point that she's just getting on her nerves.
yeah,
mhm.
And that's happened to me before
Yeah,
too, where it's
totally.
just like you then spend way more time with this person than you
Yeah.
ever have, and you're like, oh, I like loved, spending most days with you after
Yeah.
school in high school and like sleepovers on weekends and stuff, but like I never experienced you 24/7, and it's
Mhm.
like, whoa, this
Right.
this is a little bit much for me.
yeah,
So I definitely get that. And it sounds like she just wants to have this space where it's like our relationship would be so much better.
Mhm.
and it probably will be for
Yeah.
sure. So I mean,
think so,
Carly will
too.
get over it.
It kind of sounds like
Oh.
she's an introvert, like not like socially introverted, but like how they say like there's like how
Yeah.
you can like how you need to like recharge your like batteries or like your energy.
Yeah.
And I feel like if that is who she is, it's like I don't think that's bad to share. That it's like
Yeah.
when I'm at home, like you maybe didn't know this about me because we like didn't live together and we weren't together this often, or maybe she didn't know that about herself.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something that
Mhm.
I think I've realized living with a boyfriend or like having a
Yeah.
roommate
Yeah.
is I'm someone that when I come home, it's like, oh, I have to like completely like shut off.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
kind of
no,
thing.
I'm the same.
Totally. I need to like recharge. I need to be able to just be around my
Mhm.
partner or my roommates in the past, and like we don't speak to each other. I mean, yeah, of course, like say hi.
No,
and
Yeah,
totally.
whatever,
yeah,
but like
totally.
the understanding of
I
like,
need
oh, they're
to-
doing their own thing.
Yes, and I need to be able to like, I guess in a dorm room situation, I need to be able to like put headphones on,
Yeah.
watch a TV show, and it not be weird that I'm ignoring you.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I also do kind of find it a little bit strange that they didn't know this about each
Yeah.
other, just because
Mhm.
like I had two best friends growing up, and like one of them I did live with down the shore at our place down there. She lived with us in the summer, and we're very compatible. But the other one, I always just knew we would never be able to live together because we have similar dispositions, and we are both like. The other one's just so chill
Yeah.
that like anyone could live with her and get along with her, but I just knew that we wouldn't be able to live together. And so I'm like, if you've been best friends since kindergarten, I don't know. I kind of feel like you would have a sense that like, oh, this is the type A friend and I'm the type B friend, you know?
Totally. But again, like I said,
You live and you learn.
take advice from us. Just be very communicative about everything when you're going into being roommates, while you're roommates. I guess after your roommates, just like explain why, because like the friendship's more important than anything. So
and I think they'll bounce back. It might just be one of those things of like having to just like get over it a little bit, not in like a get over it, but just like you'll need time to process your feelings, and like it might hurt Carly's feelings right now to be like, oh, she doesn't want to live with me, but I feel like a little bit of time will like pass and she'll be like, oh, like it's not like to hurt my feeling, it's because you care about me so much, and it's like you don't want our friendship to be negatively impacted.
Right, exactly.
Do you think that she should double text and just explain like, you know, it really is nothing against you. I just think Ava and I have more similar lifestyles and we would be better suited together?
I think a double text is fine. Just like explain why. Like we just don't live on the same schedule.
I think too, even if it's something where like she just got distracted and like didn't follow up kind of thing, it might just also be like nice. I feel like there's been times where I don't necessarily think that there's like an issue with a friend, but I feel like, oh, I haven't reached out in a while. Like I'll just reach out and be like, oh, I'm sorry, I've like neglected our friendship, or that I haven't like been as present. And I feel like I've had other people write back and be like, oh my God, no, I've been like so busy, but like that's really nice.
Yeah.
So it could just like, you know,
so maybe
it opens the
Carly
door
just
to
like
have
saw it. I'm a notorious look at the message and then get distracted by something else, and then like
I
a
just
week
text
goes
you hello with all caps. You're like, okay.
And I'm like, oh my God, sorry. My bad.
No, I get that for sure.
So,
because you're right, that could be exactly what the scenario is that she read it and then, but just given the context of it, it probably is that it's a bit of an issue. So, and also if she's your best friend, like,
oh my gosh,
who cares to double text her? Like,
yes,
this isn't,
of course,
this isn't like a boy that you need to like impress or
also,
whatever.
double text that boy too.
Yeah, say we're not playing. It's
2025.
we're not playing games.
Life is too short.
All right, yeah. So we say, and then maybe this does require in-person conversation too. Like maybe text her that, and then just see like, oh, did you have any plans this weekend? You want to blah blah blah? Because it sounds like they're from the same hometown.
Yeah,
because they're probably home for the summer. And then if it's like awkward or anything, maybe it's like, hey, I also just think it would be good for us to branch off, and then we could get closer with other people.
Yeah.
It almost seems like, you know, we kind of were not able to make as many friends this year.
Right.
But like we'll still obviously be over each other's houses all the time. We can have sleepovers but yeah, that was a mistake. You guys should not have roomed together.
Yeah.
So for anyone out there who, well, not only college students, but
like if you're
new
moving
adults,
to a new city or anything like that, like
with a friend. I mean, obviously, like in the real world, especially like money is tight. I get that if you're moving to a new city with a friend, it makes sense. But just for your own sanity, be aware. Be careful. Yeah. It's difficult though when you're like not best friends, when you're just like kind of friends.
Yeah.
And then you decide to room together, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh. Like I started rooming with this one girl, and you guys have heard me talk about her. It's like the one that I was not a good roommate to at all. But she was, I really didn't like her at all. And I didn't realize it going into it. I had just met her.
Yeah.
And we like really quickly, we were like, we're going to do improv together. We're writing a short film together. Like we got really intense. And then we moved in together, and almost immediately I realized I didn't like her. Like I just thought she was like not a good person.
Yeah.
And then it was just really uncomfortable for the whole year, for literally the entire like 11 more months that we were living together. Oof. And so it was just like, because I didn't know her at all.
Right.
So I was just getting to know her. And so I think that's also another thing to be careful of, like not just with best friends that can ruin close friendships. It can also make things really awkward if you're newly friends with somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you're like newly friends, it's like you don't know how they're gonna respond in a negative conversation. Like if you needed to like bring up like, hey, like
I
don't
killed
know,
your
something.
rabbit.
Oh my god. No, like literally like, hey. Just trying to let you know while you were gone.
So like I never thought about what would have happened if we did notice that the rabbit was dead before she got home.
Oh my God, you were probably freaked out.
Like what would we have done? We would not have just went into my room and watched
No, we
TV.
wouldn't. I think we would have been nicer people. I like to think that we would.
Well, no, we would have. We just didn't notice. Which wasn't great, but
I'm just like thinking about my reaction. I'm like, I'd probably be in shock.
yeah, I'd been like, do we call
I
her?
wonder
Like,
if you'd
I don't
even
know.
be able to tell.
Oh, well. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know
Did
actually.
it have like X's in its eyes, like a cartoon?
I actually don't know. Honestly, we probably would have been a similar scenario, but we probably would have just been more empathetic.
Yeah. And I guess we would have been there to like welcome her home to
And
be like,
this
hey,
happened.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I think it's better that you didn't.
Yeah, honestly, same
Yeah.
because yeah. Anyway,
But
moving
how
on.
did we get there again?
Next story.
Becoming friends with
Yeah,
random
yeah,
with random people.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't know how you react in conflict.
Yeah.
So then it's
Right.
really uncomfortable because then for most of the time I assume people are very passive aggressive, and then if they're
Yeah.
not, it's like, oh my God, you're being super aggressive. I don't
Yeah.
even know you like that.
Right.
Would you prefer someone was super direct, passive aggressive, or like shutting down, like what do you think is easier to like, I guess, combat in those situations?
Well, I would say directness is
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
best, but if it was like aggressive,
Yeah, then I feel like I
Yeah.
don't know.
yeah, if the options were aggressive, passive aggressive, or
Just like
Shutting down.
Yeah.
I mean, how aggressive are we talking? Like you getting yelled at? Like say it's getting yelled at?
Yeah.
Then I guess
Oh, I think I might.
passive
I think I would
aggressive.
end up like matching their energy, but like that's
and
not
just
good.
fight. Just duke it out.
Not like in what I say, but I feel like I would like maybe like match the volume and just to be like you're yelling, but I also
Yeah.
feel like that's probably not good either. Because I guess my whole thing is like when you are direct and the other person shuts down, then I like don't know what to do. Versus like I
Right.
guess if you're like being aggressive, like it sucks and it's a lot, but at least I know how you feel.
As someone who is
yeah.
shut down person
Okay.
or was, I'm like
Mhm.
a little bit more direct now, but like for a long time I would just shut down every time I was mad. I will say that it's probably not the best way to deal with your
Yeah.
emotions.
As a former yeller, same.
Yeah.
So
So
let's go
cool.
with passive
Yeah.
aggressive.
Yeah.
We'll be in the middle.
Yeah, it's perfect.
This segment is two sides to every pancake. Should my flatmate, or as we call it, roommate in Americana, make coffee for both of us in the morning? This is Steve's perspective. My friend Hamish and I share a flat, and we work from home several days a week. We both like coffee, but disagree about who should make it and when. When we're both in the flat, Hamish will only ever make coffee for himself. I don't get it. He just makes enough for himself and won't check whether I want one. We work in different rooms, and if Hamish is at home, I'll drop him a message asking if he wants coffee. I'll give it a few minutes, and if I don't hear back, I'll still make loads. We have a cafeteria. Oh, I think it's like a French press. We have a French press. Okay. So if Hamish says no to coffee, I won't make too much, but I'll still just add a little bit more in case he changes his mind and wants another cup. I alternate my work from home days. Hamish says he never knows if I'll be leaving for the office, so he doesn't bother making a bigger pot. But when I'm home, I always check if he's in. Why can't he do the same? Then he says he doesn't like chatting first thing as he's not fully awake. I'm more of an early riser and don't mind talking, but when you're making coffee, the physical effort required to add one extra spoon is minimal. So why not just do it in case someone else wants some? I don't see how it makes your morning any harder. What's most annoying is Hamish makes coffee just for himself, then leaves the granules in the cafeteria. I have to wash it up before making my own. That's a slight. First, seeing evidence of coffee that you didn't even get to drink and then having to clean it before starting the process again. Sometimes Hamish says making extra coffee is wasteful. We don't have a microwave, so once the coffee gets cold, that's it. But even if it does get cold, that's only 20 cents worth of coffee gone to waste, so I'd rather take the risk. The whole thing has become a bit of a running joke. Sometimes Hamish says I'm a moral crusader, that I like to get high. I like to get high.
Right.
This took a turn. That I like to get on my high horse about little things for the sake of it. I guess that's true, but I genuinely think he is in the wrong here. Okay, before we get Hamish's defense, what do you guys think about?
Sounds like Hamish should live with Carly.
I'm kind of obsessed. I would say, what's his name? I'm kind of obsessed. I'd watch a whole show about this.
I would too, honestly.
Like, I would love to be a fly on the wall.
Like, I want to be on their TikTok stream. Like, just like two sides to every story. Hamish and what's the other guy's name? Steve. Like, Steve's just like stewing about the coffee.
Yeah.
And Hamish is just like living his life. Also, get a Keurig.
I know. Yeah. Yeah, they could just do that because it's like
then we're
a
not
pod,
wasting
right?
any coffee. Yes, and also if you're like worried about the environment, you can get the pods that you
refillable
refill.
one.
I do love a sustainable queen, though.
Me too.
So I'll give him that.
Yeah. We'll give that to him.
I don't know. So far, I feel a little bit like it could go either way because I feel like those things would bother me too. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, I think it's really nice that he does it for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if it was me, I would hope that like it was reciprocated. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, it's like fine.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
The dirty stuff is
The dirty
what
stuff
bothers
is
me.
what-
Not so much
thing
the
that
making the
really
coffee.
puts me over onto Steve's side
Yeah.
because it's like, okay, if you're not going to make it for him, you have to clean it out.
Right.
So he's cleaning up after you
But
every
also,
time
like,
now.
a French press. I mean, how much work is it to put in like an extra cup of water?
Yeah.
The thing can serve 8 cups of coffee.
You mean like for Hamish, like, put
Yeah.
another scoop in? Exactly.
And also, I don't know. Are they French? Like, where's the cafeteria? In
I
the
love-
flat?
I also
Like,
love the name Hamish.
are they in like the UK?
yeah, these are
Do they
usually
not
from the UK.
Do iced coffee? Because the moment he was like, when it's cold, it's over. I was like, when it's cold is when I want it. So I guess I just don't really understand.
I'm
Put
also
it
a
in the
cold brew-
fridge.
right, because I was like, I'm a cold brew
yeah.
person.
But it's kind of like room temp, but also, they don't really do ice over in Europe.
Yeah, every time I've ever asked for an iced coffee, they're like, what?
I know.
Love it.
Meanwhile, I'm like injected into my veins now.
They literally call it an Americano because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, well, that's what Americans do. They created it for us with the
It's like,
tourists.
it's crazy. I don't know.
Because we have to have things our way, you know?
Also, you can, whatever. You can rewarm it on the stove. I
I
guess.
was
Like,
literally gonna
You were
just
gonna say that?
like Steve, like let's
come on. But no, that's Hamish's point. He's like, oh well, it's gonna be poured down the whatever. But it's 20 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that if Steve is constantly always asking you, it would be nice to hit him up. If you're not gonna do that, then just
like
do
pick up
it.
on it. Like, oh, he like always asks me.
And he's literally telling you he wants you to do this.
Yes.
See, again, this is the problem
Can
with
we-
friendships.
Yeah.
Being friends as roommates. Because if this was just your roommate, would you expect this?
No.
Would you expect this? Probably not, right?
No.
No.
So I think that Steve just needs to point blank say to Hamish, hey, when you make coffee, will you make it for both of us?
Or else.
Or else the end. When I make coffee,
Threaten
I
him.
make it for both of us. So it's weird that you don't.
Or
even
you
consider
just
it.
stop doing it for Hamish. Like, would that
Yes.
start making you feel better? Because clearly he's not going to. It sounds like he has asked him. It's become a running
Yeah,
joke.
because it sounds like he wouldn't be like that Hamish if like Steve never did it again, he wouldn't be like upset about
Well,
it.
and also maybe he does
Yeah.
need to stop making coffee for Hamish because then Hamish will be like, wait, where's my
Oh.
coffee?
And then he'll be like, oh, I guess I do need to reciprocate.
No, because then he's like, he's so used to like that just happening
The
that he probably doesn't
luxury.
even
He's
think
getting,
about
like,
it.
The princess treatment.
Yeah. And so like if Steve stops making it for Hamish, then Hamish is gonna have to fend for himself every single
I
day.
think that's what he is gonna have to start doing.
I think I'm just more worried about it. Like the cleaning part is annoying. I don't really
The
think
cleaning
the
part
coffee
is
thing,
like
I think
not
the coffee thing
okay.
is
It's
like
both, but I think that that's insult to injury.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
fair.
Because this also did kind of happen to me with one of my roommates. And I'm sorry, I probably told this story on the podcast already.
I've never heard
but
it.
you guys have never heard it. So you know what? It's for y'all. Is just this one time my roommate, the one that I didn't like,
Yeah.
and so we just, because I was acting a little bit more cold towards her, like we clearly just didn't have a good relationship anymore. I would always do our dishes, both of us. Because we were both the type that we were both comfortable with, just like, oh, you leave dirty dishes for a little bit, and then like,
and then you
you
both
them
do
all
them.
in
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
like kind of
Totally.
thing. And so I think when we were friends, like we would both do, but I just continued doing that. But she would go through the filled sink and pick out the dishes that she used, which we shared dishes.
Our roommate kind of did that too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she did do that.
because she would leave a note about our stuff and then not do it, but then we would always wash everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I would get really
forgot
fucking
about
annoyed by
that.
that because I'm like, well, I'm doing all of yours, but also it was more work for me to like try and figure out which were her dishes
what you
because it's
used.
not like I had my own dishes and she had her own.
Yeah, just like all in.
It was
like,
all of
cabinet.
our own. So I would have to literally go through and inspect the
And
food
be like,
remnants.
I had
Right,
this.
like I ate this
No.
pasta.
Yeah. No.
And so that was way more work for me. So I did start getting really resentful about it because I'm like, what the hell?
yeah.
And I never said anything to her because we were both very passive aggressive. We didn't ever
Yeah.
like talk about, like, we should have just been like, hey, I guess we're not getting along or whatever. I don't know. But maybe that would have helped me feel less resentful about it. But again, it was more work for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I guess in this scenario, it's not really more work for him. I mean,
Again,
the extra
I think
scoop.
they should
Yeah.
just.
Yeah,
I
right.
really think they should just get a Keurig, or that like you know the Europeans use that little like espresso coffee on the stove thing,
Oh, yeah.
where it's just like one, where you
I
just
know
like
what
put
you're
it in it
talking
like
about.
Yeah, but then you have to spend more money. Like, that's kind of annoying
like
having to do all of
$20.
that. Oh, but the Keurigs can be expensive.
yeah. But
the
if you do
cups,
that, then
yeah.
it's literally like 1 cup of coffee.
But then does that solve the issue that it's going to be dirty?
No.
We'll
Because
get
Hamish
2
is
of
still going to
them.
leave it dirty. Yeah, it sounds like they're just going to have to like have their own ways of. But
Get 2 Keurigs.
what'd you say? Get 2 Keurigs.
Get 2 Keurigs.
But I think this is letting Hamish off the hook too
Yeah,
much.
yeah. No, I think he should stop making coffee for Hamish.
and
But
see how he likes it.
okay, let's hear
Yeah.
Hamish's
All right,
side.
shall we hear
Yeah.
it? So far, I'm on Steve's side, to be completely honest. He says, I'm not opposed to making coffee for other people on principle, but in our flat, it just makes sense for me to make it for myself. When Steve and I lived in a shared house at university, we were with lots of other people, so I would often make a big pot for everyone, which would always get drunk. But now that it's just the two of us, making too much coffee at a time seems wasteful. The main issue is that I don't always know whether Steve is staying in or not. We both work from home 3 days a week, but I always work from home on the same days, whereas Steve's routine changes. During the week, he works in the living room because he has the smaller room, and I work in my bedroom. It might sound weird, but it's hard to tell if Steve's home. We stay quite separate during the day and keep our doors closed. We're often listening on video calls, and even if Steve is home, he might be in a Zoom meeting for a couple of hours. I don't want to disturb him. I think, well, if I make coffee and the rest of it just sits there, it will get cold. We don't have a microwave, so we can't heat it up again. A cold brew probably doesn't taste as good. Well, excuse us.
Okay. Okay. Oh my god.
Wrong.
Now we're definitely Team Steve.
Yeah.
Hamish with the iced coffee slander.
Yeah.
Besides, in the morning, I just want to get on and do my own thing and not really have to speak to anyone. I'm definitely not a morning person. Most people know that about me, including Steve. Pretty much anything will stress me out before I've had a coffee. Well, that's a problem.
Well,
Yeah. Oh.
Get it together, honey.
sounds like Steve should live alone. I mean, Hamish should live alone.
Yeah.
I think.
Hamish needs to get his own place.
Can I ask a logistical question?
Yes, you may.
Did you say that he said that Steve works in the living room and he works in his bedroom? Because wouldn't you then walk by
Yeah, to
him
the kitchen.
and see that he's working and then just make coffee for 2?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. He works in the
I mean,
living
I
room
need
because he has
blueprints
the
of the
smaller
flat.
room. Oh, and he has the smaller room. And he's got the smaller room. You can't even make him coffee.
I can't. I'm just saying, like, I don't know the layout of their flat, but most of the time the living room and the kitchen
Yeah.
are like right by each
Yeah.
other.
And then there's dead rabbits in the corner.
Yeah,
I don't know. It sounds very open concept besides their
So,
bedrooms.
like, if he's working in the living room and you go out to make coffee, then you would know that he's just working. So I guess I'm not really understanding
Yes, you
Hamish.
could ask him or text him.
Mhm.
But also, beside you don't even have to have any personal interaction.
Yeah.
Just add a little extra scoop. But again, his point is the wastefulness. But I'm sorry, and I really do. I'm a huge advocate for not wasting.
Sure.
But even I don't really see this as a ton of
It's
wasting.
water.
It's
You just like drink it.
put it in the fridge.
Yeah,
I don't
He
know.
doesn't
I
like
just-
cold coffee.
Yeah, he said it on
Put it-
taste was good.
Put it in the sun and wait for it to reheat. Then I don't really know.
Put it in what?
In
The sun.
And wait for it to reheat.
Outside.
Use your nature.
I understand the wasting too. I feel the same way, but I feel like because I'm one of those people. I feel like even though I would prefer to have it like, however, I probably still drink it.
Yeah.
Because even if I get nice coffee and it waters down, I kind of feel like, oh, I don't want to waste it. So like, I'll
Yeah.
still
but the
drink
amount
it.
of caffeine, like
Yeah.
he might be too caffeinated out.
No, I'm just living life on the edge. Like
All the
Just
time.
like,
Yeah.
But the other thing too is that they work from home 3 days a week. So that means like 2 days a week would be really the only days that you were making extra coffee that was getting
Oh,
wasted.
yeah.
And so it's
Yeah.
only 2 days a week.
Right.
So that's what, 40 cents and 2 scoops of coffee. And you can also do like a half a scoop if you want, and that could make 2 cups. Like it doesn't have to be a full ass scoop.
No, totally.
I just feel like there's ways that you're just like making excuses at this
Yeah.
point to
No,
like
or
not
Team
be
Steve, I
a good
think.
friend and roommate.
I think
Yeah.
I'm Team Steve.
I am too. I don't think they hold enough water for
Yeah.
me.
No.
Coffee
Literally.
water.
Literally.
Oh wait, I didn't finish
Oh,
his. Sorry.
We just
Oh,
really.
he has. Okay. Well,
What
maybe
if
he's gonna
the
redeem
last
us
sentence
now.
has
Yeah, he's
that
gonna
one?
redeem. Yeah.
Okay, you got 2 paragraphs to convince us. He goes, I get that it can be annoying for Steve to get up to make a coffee and find I've already made one for myself. I suppose it also twists the knife in a little deeper when he has to wash up the cafeteria that I've made my coffee in before making his own. When Steve makes me coffee, I am grateful, don't get me wrong, but I also never ask him to do it. Oh, I hate when people do
Yeah, that's not the point.
I would be more than happy to make the coffee for myself if I had to. In the mornings, I just like to stay in my zone, make the coffee, take it back to my room and drink it by myself. What's so wrong with that? Okay, you didn't redeem yourself.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oof.
Because all I'm thinking now is like, sure, you didn't ask him, and like, I don't know. Because I always talk about how there's like a difference between being nice and being kind, and I kind of feel like the fact that he doesn't ask you but does it anyway is an act of kindness. Like, he doesn't have to have to do that, which I feel like it's like you're proving the point is like he's going out of his way to do something that is helpful to you without you asking.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, he acknowledges that. I suppose it also twists the knife a little deeper when he has to wash up my
Okay,
thing. And you don't
that
say like,
diabolical.
okay,
That's
then I'll
crazy.
stop doing
I
that.
kind of love it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm here with the popcorn waiting for the YouTube live stream of their kitchen.
Yeah, we love,
but
we love it. Keep it up.
It's diabolical.
Don't never stop.
That he recognizes that he
Yeah.
And isn't going
Leaves
to
it-
change.
dirty. He's like, sorry,
I'm
Steve.
just so in the zone. I don't have time.
Because I'm like, well, do you want him to stop making you coffee? Because if you're
Well,
watching him
Steve,
do it,
you
and
better
being-
stop making him
oh no,
coffee.
he has to stop now.
Yeah.
I'll be pissed if he doesn't.
This is like a Bravo reunion where like then you see what everyone said about you.
Yeah.
Like, is this for like Steve is now knows that Hamish doesn't give a shit
truly
about
Yeah.
any of
he
it?
doesn't even- like when he was saying like, yeah, I suppose it twists the knife in a little deeper.
Like, he's a
I thought
sociopath.
the rest of the paragraph was going to be like, I'm definitely going to stop doing that. I didn't even realize I was going to watch it later, and I didn't realize he needed. Like, I thought he was going to come up with some excuse. Nothing.
No.
Yeah.
No
I actually am
excuse.
truly surprised.
I do. I really thought that he was going to redeem himself in the last paragraph. Like, oh, you're right. You know what? I'm going to start making an effort, blah, blah, blah. Like, he's such a good roommate. He's really considerate, blah. No. Sorry, I leave my thing dirty and I don't feel bad about it. Sociopath
Yeah,
behavior.
Steve needs to just get his own
Apartment.
Apartment.
Yeah. I was like, cleanliness is an act of self-love. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
We do have some comments from some readers. From Ian, 30. Hamish mate, your pal is crying out for a little social interaction. He's not asking to be spooned in bed, just in the cafeteria. I get that you like your lone wolf life, but this small act makes Steve smile. And if you let it, give you a warm and fuzzy feeling too. Okay, Ian. Calm down.
Ian, relax. Move in with Steve.
Yeah, I was just, I feel like sometimes at work, like I think about like people on my team will be like, oh, I'm gonna get a coffee, or like, oh, do you need a fork? And it's like so small, but it is like, it is
So
really nice
sweet.
though.
Yeah,
and
it's
just kind
so
of like,
nice.
oh, that's like nice. You like thought about
Thought
me.
of me.
Yeah.
Totally. This lone wolf mentality is not like, I don't know, it's just like harming our world. I
It
just
really
feel like
is.
the like neighborly love is not a thing anymore.
Well, definitely not in Hamish's
Not in
world.
Hamish's life. Let's see what Amy28 has to say. It's part of the housemate code to offer a brew to others if you're making one yourself. It's all part of sharing a space. So Hamish is guilty. I would also not be happy having to clean the coffee maker first thing in the morning. Yeah, that's another good
Yeah,
point.
that's
First
tough.
thing in the morning.
I'm so annoyed for Steve.
Let's see what Millie58 says. Hamish has shown Steve who he is, yet Steve won't accept it. Hamish's reasoning is sound. My
Well,
only suggestions are clean the machine after you use it and buy separate bags of coffee if cost is an issue. Yeah.
I mean, it's all coming down to cleaning the coffee
Yeah.
machine,
I think-
cafeteria,
Cafeteria.
French press,
I
whatever
know,
we're
I'm like, do they
calling
sell
it.
that here? I want one.
We
Has
go.
no idea what it
We
looks
go
like.
to
I want
Stephen
one.
Hamish's.
So much emotion over this thing. I want one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about what Amy was saying. Like, it's the housemate code to offer a brew. Like, you don't
Oh,
have to. These are just
no.
like standards that end up getting set sometimes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that is the problem with friends is that, like, yeah, you know, sometimes you're going to go more above and beyond for your friends. But then, yeah, you kind of like end up seeing their true colors or just how they work.
Team Steve.
Team
Team
Steve.
Steve.
Miranda.
Yeah, honestly, though, Team Steve till I die.
That comes out tomorrow. Do you guys watch it?
Yeah. Oh
And
my god.
just like that,
Yes.
season 3, baby.
Che's gone. I hope they fall in love again.
I'm gonna miss Che. I love Che. Was the best.
No, I agree, but I'm just like
They were
I
they
love
were the
Steve.
worst. Oh,
All
yeah,
Steve
yeah,
wanted
yeah,
to do was like love Miranda.
Miranda. All right, let's wrap it up. My roommate keeps calling my boyfriend our boyfriend.
Oh.
I, 19F, have been dating my boyfriend, Will, 20M, for about 6 months. We go to different universities that are about 2 hours apart. We try to see each other about every 3 weeks. Whenever he visits, he stays for about 4 to 5 days, which my 3 roommates are okay with. He's very helpful, nice. If I'm doing chores, he'll help me. He'll take out the trash, wash dishes, make me breakfast. One of my roommates, Cass, 19F, was dumped near the end of September, and since then, I feel like she has been weird with Will. A few examples. Sometimes he'll cook for me if I'm busy at school, and oftentimes he'll make enough for my roommates too. Almost every time this happens, Cass makes comments about how he's so sweet and she wishes she had someone like him, and how her ex could never. Will and I usually reassure her and say that she'll definitely find someone who will treat her right, but she just looks at him expectantly. Expecting what? I don't know. When he helps with, quote, manly stuff like taking out the trash, installing a hook in my room, moving heavy things, she always makes sure to linger around and comment about how strong he is and how lucky I am to have such a fit partner. If we go out, Cass will ask to come with. My roommates and I use an app that tracks our location for safety reasons. And when I go out with Will and don't tell her, she'll usually text me asking what I'm doing. We try to stay in my room, but if Will goes into the kitchen or something, Cass will always happen to wander in. We have to lock my bedroom door when we sleep to make sure she doesn't come in, because she does that sometimes.
When they're sleeping. Keani wants to watch this show too.
Yes.
Yes. At one point, I was on the phone with Will, and when Cass found out, she was like, "Is that Will?" and kept ripping the phone from my hands very aggressively and really loudly started talking about her sex life and asking him about his, saying shit like, "Make sure you hit it deep." Overall, anytime he's nice to her, she'll say things like, "Haha, it's almost like you're my boyfriend." And whenever she refers to him around me, she'll call him our boyfriend as a joke. Will finds this all very uncomfortable and tries his best to avoid Cass as best he can or shut her down when she makes those comments. I'm not sure if I should bring it up with her because on one hand, I'm very uncomfortable, but on the other hand, I feel like she'll just deny everything or say it's all for jokes or maybe get hostile with me. Any advice is appreciated.
She should watch the
That's
movie
tough.
Fatal Attraction.
Oh.
There is a dead rabbit in it. So
Just
really full
FYI.
circle moment. She's giving, like, Cass is giving Glenn close.
What is this, like single white female?
Yeah, I was gonna say that, or
Yeah.
the roommate with the Leighton Meester.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Queen.
yeah, yeah.
Or what was that? What's
Or
the Beyonce one?
and
Oh,
Ella
yeah.
Obsessed.
Larder.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Oof.
Yeah, have you guys ever like had feelings for any of your friends, like
Significant
partners?
No.
No.
Yeah,
like
I mean, I've
that.
definitely like thought they were hot.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Or were like, I would definitely like
Yeah.
want to hook
In
up
another
with
life.
them in another life. Or
Yeah.
like kind of like have a little bit of a crush, but like never
not in like a-
act on
yeah.
it. Not in like a way where I'm like pining for them.
Yeah, and making you
No.
uncomfortable. Because it sounds like he's communicated to his girlfriend that he's uncomfortable, like when they spend time with her.
Oh, well, yeah.
And it's
She's
like,
walking into the
yeah,
room.
that
Well, that's crazy.
yeah, because it's not kind of like, oh, your friend like is like has inside jokes with him, or like you're like whatever. It just sounds like you're kind of throwing yourself at them is a bad way of putting it, but it does feel
Yeah.
like it's like it doesn't feel like a joke, even though
Yes.
they're kind of then being like, oh, it's a joke, but
She's
it's like
masking it as a
yeah.
joke. Well, there was a comment that she wrote where somebody said, "Why do you need to lock the door?" And she said, "Because Cass
God,
would just
no.
come in and bother us. Usually when she suspected we were having sex, even if we were just chilling or sleeping, Cass would come in and just talk to us. Sometimes she'd switch it up and just be crying. At first it seemed pretty harmless and we'd soothe her, but I grew weary as she never took these problems to our other roommates."
Ooh.
So it seems like she was just kind of like doing it for attention.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Or like a reason to go in and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Yeah.
but when they were having sex, that's crazy.
So
That's a lot.
weird. I don't. Ugh. And also, like, how does Cass think this is going to end? That
Yeah.
the
Oh, yeah.
boyfriend is just going to be, or what's his name, Will?
Mhm.
That Will is going to just be like, you know what?
You're right.
Yeah.
It's you. It was you this
It
whole
was
time.
you
Yeah.
this whole time.
She's watching way too many like rom-coms.
What is happening? Yeah, I actually, because I don't have any advice for that other than like, if it was me, I feel like
I would move out.
Yeah, or I
Yeah.
would like find myself becoming very distant in our friendship.
But I would also kind of like live for this drama.
Oh my God.
You're the other roommate.
If
just
I was the
watching.
other roommates, I would be so into it. That would be us.
I honestly
I'm
think
listening
I
on
would
the
be
other side of the
into it
wall.
if it was my boyfriend.
Well, yeah.
Because I would be like, well, first of all, I always like when like somebody
Yeah,
has a
yeah.
crush on my boyfriend. Like I'm always, or like, think
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
hot.
yeah.
No, yeah. I feel the
Yeah,
same way
yeah,
when
yeah.
people are like, "That's weird." I'm like, "No, it's cute."
Yeah.
So I would be like, hell yeah. And then like just the drama of it all, it would
Yeah.
just be so fun.
I know.
But yeah, especially if I was the roommates. Oh my God, I would live for this.
Yeah, change your perspective. Think it's funny.
I guess I'm just kind of like, what is the response he's trying to elicit,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
other than like obviously like if she likes
Maybe
the
her,
boyfriend, but
like-
it's like, would it change if she then did think it was funny?
Like, do we think that Cass is like trying to like wear them down by being so crazy that they break up and then she'll be able to like
It feels like a
pick
lot of
up the
work.
Ben.
pieces? Because if you just change your
Yeah.
mindset on how you're going to react to the situation and it's just like what you're saying, like so funny.
Yeah.
And you're like, girl, you're being crazy. Like, do you understand how crazy you are acting?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's definitely how I would react, but I
Yeah.
know a lot of people have like protective
Sure.
Mhm.
jealousy kind
Yeah.
of feelings and like it's not funny to them. But she is also like really affecting their lives. It's not just
Yeah.
like
Yeah, the relationship.
it's not just like when it's in the kitchen or something,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
you can
yeah.
like laugh about it when you go to your room. Like she's barging into your room. You have to
Yeah, yeah,
lock
it
your
is different.
doors.
Yeah.
Whenever you're out, you have to like, let her know where you are, and she's probably gonna try and come and meet you out there. Or like when you're on the phone with your boyfriend, she's gonna grab it. Like it would make me really uncomfortable, especially like this is your friend and your roommate.
Mhm.
This isn't just
Right.
like a classmate that like
right.
Yeah.
the three of you
yeah.
are in class together and you kind of like see her making eyes and it's like kind of cute. It's like this is your home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And she
yeah.
and your home, as we were talking about before, is supposed to be like your safe space where you can come home and just like
Yeah.
unwind. And now this girl
Oh, no,
is like
totally.
making
What if the
you
other
really
mates doing? Just
uncomfortable.
sleeping?
Yeah. I
know,
want to know. I want to know what the
well,
other
yeah.
two are doing and how they feel.
Well, would you like to find out?
Yeah.
We got an update.
Already so quick.
I know. Should we talk about it a little more?
No.
No, I guess so.
No, I just meant I thought you like just got the update.
I thought she like
Oh, okay.
DM'd
like
you
she
in this
just sent it
moment.
to you. Actually, this is what just happened. I'm like, oh yay.
She's back at it again.
Season 2.
She's on the line.
Hi guys, so this is the update.
I was alone with one of my other roommates, Jen, and I started to bring up Cass's behavior around Will. I didn't even get one sentence in before Jen stopped me and said, I know, she's been really weird. Apparently, Jen and our fourth roommate, Eva, have discussed this before, but they weren't sure if I even noticed because I didn't seem to react. Jen is definitely the closest to Cass. We all went to high school together, but I was only really friends with Eva at the time. She said she brought it up privately with Cass after Will's last visit, and Cass just did that thing where she talks and incoherently defends herself. Eva and Jen agreed to step in if shit got out of hand. Cass was very excited for Will's visit and would say stuff like, oh, I can't wait to see him, or just a few more days. I have a test from 7 to 9 on his second day here, and apparently she talked to Jen about picking out a movie for the two of them to watch while I was at biochem. She settled on Sinister too, for anyone that's wondering.
Romantic.
Jen said that she was out of line, but again, Cass incoherently defended herself. Every time she made comments like that, my roommates and I would just silently give her a look and say, okay, anyways, and change the subject, which seemed to at least make her self-conscious. All right. Now, this is what happened during the visit.
This is a good story.
Yeah.
Cass was all over him as soon as he got here, pouting and saying, where's my hug? Jen hugged her instead, and we used that time to escape to my room. Day 2 rolls around, and as soon as I'm out of the house, she tries to get Will to watch the movie with her, saying she really wants to watch it, but doesn't think that she can do it alone. Oh, that's why she got a scary movie.
Oh.
Will politely declined and continued playing video games in my room, and she left. Throughout the rest of the visit, I'm firm with her, telling her that she can't come on our dates, saying she's being weird when she makes comment about how hot he is and how he's our boyfriend. Will has point blank said that he's my boyfriend and that he'll never be hers. At some point, he's so aggravated he stops talking to her or acknowledging her at all because he was worried he would yell at her. I've never heard him raise his voice before.
Oh, that's
this.
bad. It's like bad if like he is starting to acknowledge it negatively, and like, but at one point was kind of not acknowledging it.
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess that would make it's weird that the behavior continues if the person is being like, it's not cool.
Oh, yeah.
Because then it's kind of just like, I don't know why.
Well, it's kind of like sexual harassment.
Yeah.
It like definitely is, right?
Yeah, 100% is.
Just now, when I was showering, Cass went into my room where Will is in her underwear and a bathrobe, saying she knows he's playing hard to get,
No.
but that he can't resist her. Will started yelling at her to get the fuck out, which alerted me and my roommates. Eva and Jen dragged a tearful Cass out of the room. She even called me a skinny bitch on her way out. I think they're going to drop her off at her friend's house tonight. I'm just fucking floored. I really did not expect her to go nuclear like this, but goddamn.
That's a wild.
Can you believe that while she's in the shower?
No. Well, I guess
That
we
is
can, but like,
wild.
what? That's crazy.
Red flag 1 is picking Sinister or picking Sinister 2 and not Sinister 1. It's
Well,
better.
1,
But
yeah.
also just like it's I just don't know how you could be the person that has to be escorted away in this scenario and be like, yeah, I'm not wrong.
Yeah, you're the wrong one.
Yeah.
Calling her names.
Yeah.
Trying to fuck her boyfriend.
Right.
And then calling her a bitch.
That's wild.
Well, I mean, she obviously needs like psychiatric help, I think,
Yeah.
because like it's delusion, like full
Wait, are they still
delusional.
friends?
I can't
Or I guess
imagine.
spending time together or living together? I think it's tough because it's like also
We
the
need
other
to
roommates
know.
acknowledged it
I
as
think that
well.
there might have been a third update.
Please. My favorite show is on.
I talked with my roommates and Jen called Cass's mom. As pissed as I am, I'm obviously very concerned, as even though she wasn't the most pleasant person before, none of us could have expected her absolutely unhinged behavior. Cass has gone home with her parents now. I haven't pried, so I don't know exactly what their plans are, how she's doing, but it seems like she'll be away for a while as her parents come back to pick up almost all of her belongings. They'll continue to pay her share of the rent and even left some apology pastries, which was very nice of them. I haven't heard from her since, but she's still.
Here's some
Here's
donuts.
some-
Sorry.
It's so funny.
It is nice that they're going to continue to pay her rent. Yeah, pay her rent though.
Oh, yeah, I know.
That is
Can you
nice.
imagine leaving them
Yeah.
with the bill? I haven't heard from Cass since, but she still talks to Jen occasionally. The stress of school plus her breakup exacerbated some underlying issues, which caused her to snap. I believe she's in an inpatient psychiatric facility.
What I say.
Though it's unclear how long she'll be there or what exactly is going on with her. Her parents also suspect she may have been self-medicating with drugs. Oh. But it's nothing more than a suspicion at this point. Regardless, she definitely is clean now. Ooh, okay. Well, that took a little dark turn.
I know. I have
Well,
empathy for her, but that's tough.
I mean, it is literally the plot of Fatal Attraction without the dead rabbit that we provided to this podcast.
You added this to the story. Yeah, because I think like when you're like clearly when you're on drugs or like
Yeah.
drunk and high, like because I don't do like hard drugs, but sometimes when I am high, like I will have kind of like crazy thoughts. And then like the next morning I'm like, oh my God.
Well, yeah, because you're not thinking clearly. And I think a lot of it too is like, it's like, what's like eating ego or whatever. It's like all just pure emotion.
Yeah.
You
With
know what I mean? With like in that mindset, like it's like
Yeah.
you're not like thinking through it like from
Yeah.
a rational point of view. Like it's just feeling.
Yeah. And so if you are like always high,
Right. And she obviously created a different
Mhm.
world in her head
yeah,
where like him being nice to her was like him being secretly like
in love with
which
her.
is like literally the plot of all those movies
Yeah.
that we named before, the Beyonce
Is
one.
it that they're
the
on
Single Life of-
drugs?
No, not necessarily on drugs, but just like
They're
they're
just-
so delusional that like any act of kindness like has made them believe that they're like in love with them secretly, and like all you have to do is get rid of the girlfriend.
Yeah.
And like obviously that was the robe situation where she was like, this is my chance.
You're like, I know that you've been wanting
I know
this.
you want me, and
Yeah.
here I am.
It is kind of crazy though, the blatant, like,
yeah.
like calling it our boyfriend,
Yeah.
but also like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I can't wait. I'm going to pick out a movie. Like she wasn't hiding this at all.
No.
But again, maybe that is like the drugs. But I would think if you were trying to do this, you would do it a little bit more stealth.
Of course.
And like
Yeah.
maybe text him on the side, not to like give anyone ideas on how
Yeah,
to cheat.
because
but-
that's
Yeah.
that sucks too. But like,
I just think it has to be more mental than just the drugs, like honestly.
Well, it sounds like she did have,
Mhm.
I mean, I guess she said there was like some
Yeah.
underlying stuff, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, she just had a bad breakup, especially if you have trauma. And clearly her
Yeah,
past
yeah.
boyfriend was
Yeah.
not a good guy because
Yeah.
like she was always like so
Yeah.
surprised about how good of a guy Will was.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, just seeing any form of,
Like stable, loving relationship
it
is
was
like,
like, oh my
she was like, oh my
God.
God, wait, I want that. I need
Yearning
that. There
for
you
it.
are.
man, that's tough.
damn, clearly
Woof.
it was that she needed
Also, shout out to
help.
Jen.
Yeah.
She sounds like a good friend.
Yeah.
She feels
Yeah.
very like present in there for everybody.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
Oh,
give
yeah,
her
that she
snaps.
like remained
Yeah,
friends with
Team
her.
Jen. Well, I'm
Yeah.
team everyone that wasn't Cass, I guess, but I'm glad Cass got help.
I know.
No,
It's
same.
sad.
But honestly, at least like no one actually got hurt. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like it
Mhm.
could have escalated to
Yeah.
something like a little more like insane. Like she could have went after
Yes.
the girlfriend.
Right.
Or like whatever. So I'm glad that it got like
that it was
as far
just-
as it went was like her just like coming in a robe and the boyfriend being like, get the
Get
hell
the
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
out. And good thing Will is a good guy. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some guys that like obviously I don't think he would have
No,
fucked her right there
totally.
while she's in the shower.
I hope not.
But you know, like
That is crazy.
went for her in another way.
Yeah. It could have ended a lot worse.
It could have ended a lot worse. And I'm glad she's getting the help.
Yeah.
But honestly, if I was Will though, I would be like, I am one hot thing.
Be like, oh my gosh, your girl went crazy over me.
She went nuts. Like, damn.
Anytime it's a bad day, you're just like,
You know what?
actually, I got it like that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like I would never be sad again.
Well, I hope they are happy. Will and what's the girl's name?
Wait, does she say something about? Well, as awful as the experience was, Will and I, we ultimately decided not to file any kind of complaint or restraining order for the time being, as her parents seemed to have the situation under control, and we didn't want to drag the issue out any longer than it needs to be.
Great.
Yeah, so sounds like they're still together
Yeah,
and in
good.
love,
I would
and
have done the same
Great.
thing. She's getting the help
And,
she
you
needs.
know.
There's no point in doing that stuff.
Yeah, of course.
exactly.
Just makes it worse for
So
everybody.
all's well that ends well.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the psychiatric facility is helpful.
Hopefully. Should be.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining
Oh,
me.
of
This was so
course.
fun.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Do you want to plug anything?
Oh, what? I don't.
Are you guys private? No, you're probably not.
No.
I'm public.
Oh yeah. I mean, I guess you can follow.
You're public.
Yeah.
You're definitely public.
I was like, what do I have to plug? I don't know. I'm on Instagram at Anamarie Johnson.
At Keani White, KeaniWhite on all platforms.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Oh,
Same.
according to Shannon, I'm a vibe. Apparently,
You're a vibe.
because you're like you're public.
You're definitely public. Those Coachella pics need their likes.
Oh yeah, you guys can go on his YouTube
Oh, yeah,
channel and watch
YouTube
his
channel.
how to tie a bandana video.
From 2014.
Yeah,
I'll link
have
it in
up-
the show notes.
Literally the other day, I got an email that was like someone commented on a video. I haven't uploaded since 2016, and someone literally commented, "Did he die?" So let me know if you guys want to see more content from me.
This will be your resurgence into
One of
YouTube.
your listeners is going to be like, oh, "That guy."
Oh my god, he's alive. And he's not wearing a bandana.
I'm dead.
Oh my god.
I should check the view count on that. It's wild.
I know.
You said like 7 million.
Okay, I said like 1 million, but you know what?
Okay.
Maybe.
That's a lot. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. And remember, you can't spell drama without D.